Are you savages ready? Marriage game. Marriage game? What is marriage game? Come on, RP4. You just want to be play as. Marriage game? Game on a different level? Maybe it's a boss level. I don't know. Maybe it's a hope. How about a sedation for all those girls out there that want to be married? Oh, I'm married now. No more worries. Oh. Come on and pile in here, you savages. You gotta fill up every ore on the dragon ship. It is something. Lost everything. On the board, gentlemen. Ready. Any punches today? Punch things for sure. You guys all need game. What better way to learn it than to learn about the practical law of attraction?
Are you struggling to find a good quality woman? They are very rare indeed these days. If you spend any time at all watching content in the men's podcast space, or you spend time on dating apps or going out to clubs, you're seeing low-quality, promiscuous women. You're finding women with daddy issues and personality disorders, or a myriad of other red flags, and you are frustrated. I get it, brother, but what if I were to tell you that the reason why you're only seeing these types of women is because of your mindset, because of your paradigm? We get what we focus on in life, and you have trained your mind to focus on the type of women that you don't want. So those are the types of women that keep showing up for you again and again. Let's change that mindset today. If you're a guy looking to attract high quality, submissive women into your life, then I've got the perfect solution for you. And let me tell you, brother, it's all about mindset. That's right, you've got to reprogram your thinking to focus on the type of women you do want. That's where my Practical Law of Attraction course comes in. It's packed with proven psychology-based techniques that will help you manifest your dream woman. Trust me, you won't find this stuff anywhere else. Explained in such a simple, easy-to-use way. And let me tell you, when you start using these methods, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start changing for you. Picture this, you're out on the town, feeling confident and magnetic. All the women are drawn to you like moths to a flame. And best of all, you're attracting the type of women that are submissive and high quality. It's not that they weren't there before, it's that you weren't aware of them before. My course will teach you how to be more hyper-aware of the kind of women that you actually want. It will teach you to believe that you're the most attractive man around. And when you believe it, you'll carry yourself that way. So what are you waiting for? The link's in the description. Start living the life you've always dreamed of. Don't miss out on this opportunity to up your game and find the woman of your dreams. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So what are you waiting for? Act now.
Looking for quality Rule Zero merchandise, the Dragon Ship merchandise, and fantastic artwork for power linemen? Search no further than Redbubble RP Thor. Let's take a look at what is available today. Looking at these artworks, you will find the highest quality artwork specific to linemen or to Rule Zero that feature each and every one of the current Rule Zero members, from Troy, Aaron, Rollo, Ryan, Paul, John, Jack, Sterling, Thor, Paul, and Glenn. As well as you have these fantastic designs for power linemen available on t-shirts, available on hats. As you can see here, amazing amount of artwork, all done by RP Thor by hand and or on multiple media. So here we go. You can get the dad hat, you can get the mouse pad. The actor t-shirt personally is my favorite, and very, very high quality. So what are you waiting for? Let's get back and let's visit RP Thor on Redbubble for your Rule Zero merchandise and your power lineman merchandise. High quality stuff. I mean, look at this art. Until next time, I'm RP Thor. I'm RP Thor, and welcome to the Dragon Ship. Right, to the shield wall, you savages. And here we go. Welcome aboard the Dragon Ship, gentlemen. So nice of you to join us. Hey, Larry Cheek, Nuclear Claudillo, some of the finest names out there online. And we are also joined from Tokyo with the Laurent, Tokyo, my fine brother, Savage Viking over there. Did you guys know that in Viking culture, we have autism and Asperger's too? It's been with us for a long time. You know, in our culture right now in the red pill, there's a lot of this, you know, autism going on. We identified it early on as Vikings. We called them berserkers. Berserkers are autistic Vikings, gentlemen.
So, I thought they were just drugged up. They're autistic, huh?
Well, aren't most of them kind of being treated with certain levels of psychotropic drugs?
Touche.
Anyways, for another day, you know, the real ultimate elite were the Yalms Vikings, you know, for sure. But, you know, strap up, grab your shield to the shield wall, gentlemen. We're going to talk about something that always tickles all of us, including the shield maidens, because they want a part of this too. We're going to talk about married game. Guys, what does it take to have a successful long-term relationship or marriage? Do we advocate it? Do we not? What do we think about it? Why does it keep our society moving and our species going? What's the advantage and disadvantage? Is it satisfying and fulfilling, or is it all about the happiness? Maybe it's about the happiness. Is it even game at all? Or could it just be another sedation for both men and women? Let's ask those questions. Or can you actually go through your marriage and sleepwalk through it? I think maybe most of us could. And that might be even a lazy way to get through your relationships. Let's talk about that. So climb aboard, and remember that here on the Dragon Ship, our philosophy is that a rising tide lifts all ships. And here on the Dragon Ship, we are that rising tide. Welcome, guys. Let's go ahead and do a roundtable, and we'll start with Randall. How you doing this Saturday? What have you been up to this week? I know you've been heavily involved in the Men's Empowerment Network, behind the scenes, you know, working with the men that came in there to work with some of the men on this panel to try to better their lives. And in fact, I would suspect most of them would ultimately like to end up in a long-term relationship with a woman.
Oh yeah, like there's plenty of guys in there that they just want to get that one relationship or that one woman that helps them become the best man that they can be. And that's an honorable goal, but it's not the goal for everybody. Like our good friend Sterling, his goal is to have multiple women help him become the best man he can be.
Well, I think Sterling's actually helping himself become the best man he can be, and he will have the women actually add to that status as he moves forward in life, huh?
Yeah.
Climb aboard. Yeah. I think he's going to need, a stretched Harley with multiple back seats. I'm going to have to teach him how to do that.
It's going to be a pretty big sidecar for him
wow.
to bring his.
I don't know about sidecar. I want to put them all behind me. Maybe one could be in the sidecar. The rest got to be on the back. They have to jockey for that position on the side. Life is so entertaining. Who do we have here? King Thick D of AV. Audio, video, or ass whoopery? Oh, that's
well, it's for another show.
It's for another show. This is the Dragon Ship. Am I gonna have to get started here? This is the Dragon Ship.
Well, we haven't had a cuckologist do the special yet on that one on the Dragon Ship yet.
A cuckologist? There will be no cuckologist here.
No cuckologist.
No, I heard cuckologist. What have you been doing in your spare time?
Destiny is not allowed to come out and hang out, okay, on this channel.
Well, Destiny can get our food for us before we set sail. He's very, very, good at that research sort of thing. So he can get the food, categorize it, have it ready so that, he's really operates at a different level of speed. So he can get all that stuff ready for us to set sail. And then we'll wave at him as we set sail and swing the oars.
Yeah, I get it. Destiny
more like dock support. He's more like dock support.
I'm kidding. Destiny doesn't do speed. I don't know. His life like that.
I have to say one thing about Destiny, and I'll say it public here. Respect. Absolutely.
Dude is red pill.
I have to kind of lean that way because I will say this. Probably the most red pill, blue-haired dude I've ever seen because he takes at least his role very seriously and professionally, even though his conduct is a little, but it's part of it. You have to understand. And I would imagine he spent hours, if not days, preparing himself.
Yeah.
For this battle to go in. And that is not an unmanly feat. That is, even looking at his parents, that's something he did and he excelled at. And even though he cherry picked it on purpose, that was a plan and he worked his plan. And he showed up on time, ready to go. Got to throw respect out to a worthy adversary.
You know what? Think about it. He is his own mental point of origin. He does whatever the hell he wants. He really doesn't care what anybody else thinks, right?
As a card-carrying libertarian, I have to actually think him and I, in private, would probably agree on a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But if you let him do things to you, I'm never gonna stop making fun of you.
Do you think anybody can do anything to me?
No, but I'm talking about the other things he likes to do.
Glenn, don't be so judgmental, man. It's a new millennium.
Yeah. Part of finesse is at least being able to say you don't judge.
I mean, the church has
what you judge.
I get it, right? I get it, Paul. The church has female pastors now. We just got to just move on with the world and stop being judgmental.
That's right, man.
God, we're going to have some fun with this. Hey, it looks like we're starting to really pile in. Everybody's got their channels up. So I imagine I'm going to speak to all channels, guys. The channels are just recently monetized. If you really want to help us out, it does help us when you throw a super chat. That actually affects the logarithm. And we have a tendency not to do hit pieces and really play in that excitement game, which really harms us we do to a certain extent because it is time.
Speak for yourself.
Red meat sells, man. Red meat sells.
We will do red meat, but it's also, let's put it this way. We're not going to cuck for money.
$20 is $20.
$20. But we have to
did you guys see Paul Bauer?
$20 super chat, maybe.
You guys see Paul Bauer's super chat yesterday? He was like, what did you say, Paul? Like the metasphere is full of like all the fighting, whatever. I'm like, Bro, I thought you liked pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the meme I put out yesterday.
Yeah.
The level of beef in the manosphere is too damn high.
I'm like, I thought you liked pro wrestling. I'm gonna lay the
Oh,
smack.
I fucking love it, dude. Yeah.
I will go back to the super chats, guys. Please support all the channels because all these guys, we do this out of a passion. It's not the same as these big channels. I mean, you cannot. I mean, everybody's influenced by certain things, but what influences us? People that are interested in having the conversation with us. Ultimately, that's my favorite part of this because it's my way of paying it forward. And I like that. It's not so much the other stuff. And if you want to send a super chat, I will answer questions at the end about my superior, not douche nozzles, but my superior. I personally prefer, rectum tip or enema tips instead of douche nozzles. But if I'm going to talk about something, I want to answer questions. Don't interrupt me, Glenn. Is I will answer questions on my superior meal prepping skills at the very end. It seems as though I did a couple of meal prep videos that were shorts that pretty much people really like. So I think there's a lack of knowledge in how to actually do day-to-day care. I think this is expressed in the fact that women get so bent out of shape, and some men do too, on just daily chores. Guys, cooking is just a part of being a grown adult. You have to feed yourself, and it's not always Uber Eats. You're not always going out. People think that it is. They've grown accustomed to this. But if you can prepare your own food and you can do it in advance, not only do you save money, but it's just a normal part of the discipline of being an adult. And it's really worth it for your health too. So I did a video on that and people are really interested. So I've been getting a lot of DMs on it. So maybe some in the future, but you can have to send a super chat in for that.
And can I just say, as one has tasted these prepped foods.
What do you think about that? They are different.
I can't say any bad words yet, but they are amazing. Like we had the steak ones. You made the steak ones that day.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Those are very different because steaks are very difficult to deal with in a microwave.
Man,
and so the process is very different.
Chef brought our Thor up in the house.
How about the chili we took with us?
Oh yeah, the chili was
the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, would you do a little bit of Frito-Lays or something on at the end or sprinkle at the top?
Yeah, but we were traveling and doing business. And we could go out and eat a lot and it's an expense. That's not a problem. It's not what we're talking about. But we were doing so damn much. We couldn't actually leave our porta studio. And so to be able to get fed healthy meals, it let us have the energy we needed when we hit the gym the next day.
Yep. No, it was, and then the only way we got to the gym was because it was in our hotel apartment area, because we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Guys in there too,
and we barely made it to there. Remember, we were pressing for time even to get to the studio after that. It was crazy.
Yeah. Hey, somebody, you got yours up, Glenn? We'll hit that in a little while. Nuclear Claudio will hit one up. Make sure we get
It's Caudillo.
Yeah. It's Caudillo?
Caudillo. Yeah.
Caudillo. Oh. Yeah, we'll get to that. I think that's on yours, Paul. So don't let me get away. We'll get that in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's starred. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, do that.
We'll answer you, Nuke. Just hang tight, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot, as if we're experts. Anyway, we'll get to it. Hey, this marriage thing, man. I got a lot to say about it because I think I didn't pay attention for a long time because this marriage thing can be real comfort in your life, and it can make you really fucking lazy. And when you're lazy, you just keep on sleepwalking through life. So the title here was Married Game. I do think there's game. My question to the panel is, what is it? And is it boss level game? I see a lot of people that really struggle with marriage. Marriage is on the decline. And there's probably a multifaceted reasons for that, which we can get into later if you want. But let's do this. Your concept of marriage growing up. Let's talk about that because we all had different upbringings, I think. I had a traditional family of a mother and a very masculine father. And it was very much encouraged that I would find an elegant, feminine, innocent, classy woman with with etiquette and a demure demeanor. I was taught that. And then I should secure her as fast as possible and start raising children. Highly encouraged, which is exactly what my parents did. So it just seemed like it was part of life to me. It was like drinking water. Okay, here's what I got to do. I got to date. And it was to date non-exclusive. I was taught to date non-exclusively from age 16 on. You have girlfriends. You have to look at them and try to get the cream of the crop to rise to the top. And let me tell you, at that age, it was like almost impossible because it all kind of looked the same in the dark. And I couldn't tell what the hell I was doing. I got no further instruction from that, but that was my basis for it. Now, we weren't particularly religious. We did the Unitarian thing and all that, but looking back, those were pretty feminist organizations, the Unitarian Christian branch and all of those. They were pretty.
Yeah.
But what was your experience, Randall, with marriage, and what game did you get taught by your parents? You had a different experience, or maybe it was similar. Can you tell us the story?
So I was raised by a single mom. So, and in the church. One second.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the church did promote marriage towards us. They like heavily focused on it, but they also focused where you were taught how to date non-exclusively.
Serial monogamy, right?
Yeah, the church focused on you find somebody and then you stay committed, and that's your person. And so it's like they were, like, I'm sure Glenn can vouch for it. In the 90s, that there was the huge purity movement where promise rings and like going up on stage in front of the church and promising not like you would literally raise your hand and promise to swear off any sexual like promiscuity until you were married.
So Randall, that's interesting. Were you part of the Promise Keepers movement? I was kind of around the edges seeing that as a non-Christian many decades ago. Did you grow up in the Promise Keeper era?
Yes. I was one of those young boys who were looking up to the older men who they said, do this. So I went and did it. I stood in front of the church. I signed my name on that piece of paper. And yeah, it's like we didn't get anything fancy like the rings like the girls did, but it's like we made a commitment in front of the church, and it was like a weird ceremony for us to do it.
I won't necessarily crap on the premise of doing something socially for young men and women, but I want to get back to Randall. You lived it. You signed it. What did you get? Did you get any training, any exercise, or was this just kind of window dressing to kind of, what was your overall experience and what did you pull away from it? Both good and the bad.
So they didn't really train you in anything. They didn't prepare you in anything. They just said having these thoughts are sinful. Looking at these women is lustful and sinful, and it'll send you to hell.
So they told you it was bad to look at women in a sexual way?
Oh, yeah. No, they loaded you up with shame. Even though it's like you've got your natural hormones saying, hey, go fuck. Your body is like, all right, we need to do this. They drilled it into you. They basically, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they trained you into hating your own natural inclinations. And it caused a cycle of shame that is still affecting people throughout the world today, like men and women.
That's really dark, actually, because I mean, that's like telling you can't use your fingers because they're evil to survive and wipe your butt and eat, although, I mean, it really boils down to this function that you're gifted with from the universe, so to speak, that's there for a very specific reason. Ooh, that's at the core, shakes me in a way that wants me to pull out my Thor's hammer and smash those purity rings. Anyway, continue.
So it's like, while they did romanticize marriage, and they did a good job of keeping the less than Hollywood romance stuff hidden from us, everybody else. So it's like there was a lot of suffering in silence in the church. So if there was issues with a marriage or a couple, it was hidden. It's like,
oh, I'm gonna ask Glenn about that too. Yeah.
And so it's like, even to the point where if a guy was to try to get help for issues, he would then be shamed because he was having those issues.
Yeah.
And it's like, even as a teenager, I went in to talk to my pastor and I was like, hey, I'm experiencing all these like lustful thoughts. And they gave me a book called Every Young Man's Battle that makes you feel like the biggest piece of shit on earth. Like,
what's that all about?
Basically, it just keeps drilling into you that you're a fucked up person for feeling this way. It's like, it's meant to be a helpful tool, but
what's the way out of it though? What is, I mean, because you don't just do that and then not replace it, or do they just not replace it?
You replace it with worshiping God
in a prescribed fashion.
No, just not really. They didn't give you any how to. They just said, instead of feeling lust, worship God. Think of how you will honor God by denying yourself this. It's very much a toxic environment to bring up young men, because it's just like, well, and that's why the church is losing men, is because men have been raised to believe that we were evil. Like, until I started my RP journey and joined with MEN and worked with Ryan Fowler, I still had issues like accepting that I was a sexual creature.
So it was basically pray the whores away.
Yeah. Pray the whores away, pray the sin away, and if you fucked up, you're an evil person.
You know what's funny, just to hop on that, we're often taught that way too, to repress our sexuality, and that women find it creepy and stuff like that, but it's actually the opposite.
It is.
If you exude, your sexual prowess, like women are drawn to that. It's quite the opposite. And so it really does especially young men, a disservice to be taught.
Huge. That. Interesting. So that was really the extent. What was your, if you don't mind, what was your personal experience with married couples at that time? Did you have any examples at all?
So from a younger perspective, it looked like a lot of the relationships were going well, but then it's like you noticed things, but because how romanticized relationships were in the church, you thought it was something else. You made, like, your brain would come up with excuses, because you're like, there's no way that this leader in the church is flirting with this woman that's not his wife. There's no way that this wife was just holding hands and like snuggling up to this man that's not her husband. It's like, she must have tripped, or it's like, they were praying together.
Yeah, there was some spiritual consolation. So there's a lot of cognitive blindness.
Yeah. And so it just, they don't really, while the church is supposed to be a community-based thing, there wasn't a lot of like actual community. Like, there wasn't any actual, like, how men used to be taught was we would go along with our fathers and they would teach us how to do things by showing us the examples. There wasn't any examples. It was all like theology. It was all theoretical. It was, here's these books that show you how to work, how to behave. Now go behave like these books say. Yeah. While the person who's handing me this book is not acting accordingly to that book.
Well, that's really interesting, because there is a difference between the way men and women and boys and girls learn. The book stuff is very, very good. The girls are actually really good at that. And as boys, the examples is what we really need. And that's hard to come by. So interesting. Thank you, Randall. Glenn, what was your experience growing up? I mean, you had kind of the gamut, didn't you? And what was your experience with the marriage situation? What was your viewpoint? What were you taught? The good, the bad? Did you grow up in the church?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know how many times I went up there? Here's a funny story. So, Randall, did you go up like one time to doing the purity thing?
I think we did it several times, because it was.
I did it every time after I banged a chick. I was like, okay, I'm going to be pure again. I'm going back to purity. God, I'm coming back to you. And then, I would go up every single time, like throughout high school.
Let's do this. Can we do this for the episode, Glenn? Every time you need to say banged or fucked or anything like, can you say you blessed the girls?
Oh, yes. I
So
laid
after
hands
you
on them.
bless the girls,
He would bless them weekly.
every time I prayed and blessed the girls, I had to devote myself to purity.
yes,
Actually, since you're in the church, you got to know them.
I did.
In a
I-
biblical
You knew them.
yes, I knew them.
Knew them
get
biblically.
to know
Yeah.
them, though. I mean, don't they even say we should get to know them?
Oh, I knew them.
When I hear it
Sometimes better than their own
today,
fathers.
the big complaint is the girls say, "Well, all men want is sex, but they should get to know me first." But in the biblical sense, it's kind of right? You get to know them in the biblical sense, kind of same thing, right?
Let's just say I asked for forgiveness for adultery ever since I was like 14 years old.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Adultery
like
and not fornication. I'm confused.
no, because in Matthew, Jesus talks about even if you're looking at another woman with lustful eyes, that's not your wife, you are committing adultery. And since I wasn't married to any of them and I didn't know who their husbands were, I just figured every hot chick I was lusting after, I was committing adultery. So like every day I was like, dear God, forgive me for adultery, because I'm like doing it all the time. Like,
oh wow,
bad.
Yeah, that was a huge line. You have committed adultery in your heart against your future wife.
Yes.
Oh, that's
And it's just like, what the?
Where's that?
and
Where's
it's
that Jedediah soundbite? Nasty.
Oh, I don't have that one yet.
We need it because what the church did to you guys is nasty. Interfere with your natural drive instead of focusing it where it needed to be.
I just think
Then
it was.
shame you.
I just think it was.
That's goofy.
Yeah, was that Paul? Fantastic.
Was it me?
No, that was me, and I stole that from Ruslan.
Okay. So yeah, so you actually were. I mean, it kind of taken me back because I did do some studies in that area, but to say that it was adultery and just not, fornication.
No. Fornication is when you know that she's single, but if you don't know anything, whether she's married or single, and technically, she has a future husband that you're. That was the other thing, right, Randall?
This is the double monkey backflip I
And-
gotta get used to. The future possibility in the multiverse of the molecular multiverse, where she might be having sex with somebody else that might be your husband or might not be your husband, put you in a position in history to what?
Yeah.
And-
Like,
well,
it
It was
wild.
even more than you didn't even have to bless her to be considered
What?
committing adultery.
I thought
Just-
eating wasn't a cheating.
Just
If you
looking,
If you
just looking.
if
Just
you
having
looked at her
unpure
ass-
thoughts.
if
Just
you just looked at her ass when she sat down, you're like, God damn,
I was thinking to give her
you
communion. though.
committed adultery.
Yep.
I was going to give her communion,
Oh, she would commune with you, but you know what?
and
That
then I
was
would listen
adultery.
to. Isn't confessional a proper thing?
Ask
I'd
R.
listen to
Kelly
confessions.
or Usher. Usher had some confessions.
see that's the beauty of the Christian faith, though, right? You can do horrible shit and then just apologize at the end and get in for free, right? Like that's how that works.
I mean-
Oh, I must learn more.
Technically, that's what they sell you, but it's supposed to be a change in the heart. It's like, go and sin no more. Like when, like it's like, don't. Okay, yeah, I don't know, you jacked off, all right, and you're asking God to forgive you, all right. Then go and then no longer jack off. That's the whole point of it. The confessional, of your sin and stuff. It's like, okay, don't just go back like, oh God, I'm sorry, I did it, and then
You just wait until
Yeah.
you're like on your deathbed when you're not going to do any of this shit anymore anyway. Boom.
Damn,
And
Sorry for
also,
this. Sorry for all this shit. Not going to do it anymore. Get in for free.
some of
they
that
call
stuff.
it the deathbed confession.
Jeez, some of that
Like-
stuff sounds like Yoda preaching, where it says, "Go and sin more." Not. It's like what?
Yeah, like no joke. Like my grandpa was a rock and roller. Like he was a man. He was out there, and he waited until his deathbed, and he confessed and he did all that stuff at his deathbed. And I'm pretty sure he's looking down at me, going, "You know what? You still got some more playing, you kid."
Grab the brass ring in the last 30 seconds, huh?
Yeah, but it's funny. Like, oh man, I wish I could pull it up. This Twitter thing that we mentioned, purity rings, right? So
Yeah.
Rolo, me and Pearl were twittering back and forth last night about the church.
Didn't they melt those down and make a statue?
Yes, they made a statue and they gave it to what, Gloria Steinem or whatever.
Yes.
And it's a vagina.
That
the
was a
girls
press
melt
release.
down their purity rings into the shape of a vagina, right? And it's so funny because like Ruslan's saying like 70% of virgin women are in the church. And I'm just like, I responded with that picture. I'm like, so tell me where these 70% of women are so we can hook up, Mike from Iron Disciples with a girl.
I can answer it in 2 words. Bi-curious isn't cheating. It isn't having sex. I mean, come on. If they're virgins, that doesn't count towards. I guess it's only biblical with a man, right?
Well, I mean, in the eyes of the church, any sexual activity, any sexual thought, whether
but that's
it's
on the guy
by
side,
yourself or with another person, like
you and your
even for
hands
the
get a
women,
little friendly.
But that's only on the guy side, right?
No, women too.
No, women too. But if you notice, anytime they preach about sexual immorality or sexual impurity, it's always from the masculine sin.
Oh yeah, well, because they, with the whole Adam and Eve original, they tend to blame men, saying that we are the ones who lead women into the temptation, into the sin, that these women are pure, they are angelic creatures that would never have these thoughts if you didn't influence them and bring
we
them
didn't
out.
corrupt them.
Read in the Aramaic.
So do you want me to tell you guys that so I have this book called Losing the Good Portion, and Thor, I quoted it to you. Salute, Afi, I see you in there.
Thanks,
and it says there's this quote from this theologian that says, in order for men to become more Christian, they have to sacrifice their masculinity and adopt more femininity, and women, so men need to become more like females, and females need to become more angelic. So it's like they already start off at a good place. Like if you're female, you're already good.
As shocking as that is, I know this started in the 60s, having done my studies well over 35 years ago, because there was a real need because of the shift that had happened in the the 60s with the civil and there was a big push for what was called equal rights amendments and things like that. So there was a big push to not lose that component of the church. And so, yeah, there's a craziness. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, guys, here we are sitting in this RP space, and the conservatives are definitely basically feminists that just disagree with abortion. But other than that, they're identical.
And I want to comment to John Loomy. Like, I understand. See, I have a degree in religion. And now as an adult, when I read Matthew in that sermon, I understand what it means. But the way that they were preaching it then, it was a way to shame men, to let men know that you are always sinning. You're nothing but bad, but women are not bad. That was the message that was being preached.
So does that set the seeds? I mean, we brought that up, and we wanted to talk about what you learned about marriage, the benefits and the cons. I see that as a con because it sets up future failure, because you're not recognizing who you are as a human being and what your human drives are. Sinful or not, it is what it is, and you're going to have to deal with it with the appropriate tools, and you got to solve those problems if you want the coupling of a marriage or a family. What else did you learn about marriage? Oh, you went mute. You're hitting too many buttons, Glenn.
Oh, sorry, my bad. So this is the thing. They planted those seeds in young men to think of themselves always sinful, and that women are not sinful. So then when you get into marriage, the problem is still always the same. The women are not the problem of, fault here. If there's a problem in the marriage, it's always the husband. So, and it goes to that. It helps model that servant leadership model that they adopted in the 1970s. Okay. When they are telling guys, look, if you're just a better servant leader, okay, if you're just a better servant leader, your wife will obey you. Your wife would submit to you. Your wife would be faithful to you if you were just a better servant leader. But because you're sinful and you're not good enough, she is only reacting to your failures of a godly man. That's the message that they preach.
Do you know how impactful that actually is? Because not only has that came from the church and bled out of the church, or the church adopted it, it is pervasive and the standard model in our popular culture as well, and society at large. That is the standard model. You can see it in every movie, every comedy, every writing as of today. And the ones that existed before are not brought to the forefront to teach men. It's a pretty stunning thing. Lauren, get in the frame. We want to hear you too. Can we see your face? Yeah. So
Lauren is the true ambassador of toxic masculinity.
yes, for sure. Laurent, from Tokyo, marriage isn't that different, or is it that different? Now, you grew up outside the US, correct?
Yes, I grew up in New Caledonia, which is a French territory. So it's in the South Pacific, somewhere between New Zealand and Fiji, close to Australia.
Now, that's interesting. Can you kind of tell us your experiences growing up and up into your young adulthood? What was your thoughts and what were you taught on marriage, both the pros and the cons?
So the thing that I learned is when I was 7, my father became handicapped. He became disabled, 70% disabled. So I really learned that it's for better or for worse, and you stick together no matter what. So my mother had to step up, and she was a housewife. She had to work again, and she took care of my father. She took care of us. So it was really something that was led by the woman in this case, because my father was disabled. So I really learned that if you're gonna get married, be prepared that for your wife being in a wheelchair or something like this. This is really, it had a big impact on me. So it was really for better or for worse, and was for until death do us part. So this is what I learned. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that people were not sinful, or people were not promiscuous. And I mean, us being French, you know that we invented ménage à trois.
You know this, Laura? Today it's really, multiple wives or multiple girlfriends is called is polygamy, and it's been with us for a long time. Only a few men can exercise it. And just for the record, I'm not advocating or promoting in any way, shape, or form. I have different views, but one of the things about that is a lot of popular culture has really pushed back in the fact that, especially the feminists, and they say, well, that's just about the sex. And I just have a response. It's not about, having multiple girls for sex. It's really, if it's done in the way that it was in the past, it's about providing each woman with a good husband. Food for thought, without advocating anything.
And also in the area of the world where I come from, the South Pacific, like polygamy, if you will, it was more about adopting like, for instance, when there's a widow, it's very much about taking on the kids. It's very much about provisioning for the lady. So that was that. But when I came to Japan, I had a completely different view of it. Because in Japan, this is really two family. I mean, there are several ways about it. There's the traditional one where it's really two family blending together. Usually, it's the wife entering the
husband's family.
Yes, absolutely. But then I also learned that actually Japanese are I mean, when I was single, I realized that actually a lot of women go behind their husband's back and are fairly promiscuous. Like, for instance, when I walk into a bar and I see a chick with a wedding ring, I'm like, baby girl, you're not here to talk about the weather, so let's get out. And I realized that, whoa, I couldn't make sense of it. But then later on, when I got married, I realized, oh, this is why it is.
I don't actually believe that's that traditional. I think it's obvious there because of the way that culture's out. I just haven't traveled there yet, so I can't say this for sure, but I think that exists everywhere to a certain degree.
Meaning postmarital promiscuity?
Dual. Well, funny you should ask that. I've been doing my studies and then looking at, the dual nature of a woman's sexual drives. And while she's still young and available, the whole beta orbiting thing and human sexuality, and it exists. Now, it's still a choice, obviously, but I think in that culture, they look the other way somewhat. Both men and women look the other way, don't they? And it's kind of an industry in and of itself. because they don't want to get divorced. That's just the last thing, right? Or is that increasing now?
That's a good question. The divorce rate now is, I think, 36%. So when I first came here, it was in the 20s. And it's also like, because in Japan, you don't get to live together until you're married. So they barely knew each other because everybody's busy. They barely knew each other until they get married. And sometimes, like, it didn't work on first sight for whatever reason. I mean, also, it's also encouraged to look the other way. And I mean, it happens.
Could that be useful though? I mean, also, where here in the West it's common to move in and be together and all that. At least here in the Red Pill, we kind of discourage guys from doing that. Don't do that unless you're actually planning. I mean, we've actually even said don't do that unless you plan on marrying that girl within the next 6 months. There's reasons we put that down. Now we say LTR when we say marriage, we're talking ceremonial, not a state marriage because of what's happened. But there's reasons to do that. In Japan, do you think there's actually a benefit maybe to jumping into the deep end of the pool, so to speak, with how you approach marriage, or is it not so good? I don't know.
I mean, marriage is on a very, very, very steep decline.
Okay.
Very steep decline. People don't see the benefit of it. I know this because I have friends who are fake priests.
Mm-hmm.
So they just, like, usually you buy a certificate. I'm a priest. I can ordain people. So I know it doesn't make sense for you, because the Japanese they like for a lot of Japanese girls, marriage is the wedding dress, is the best day of her life. But then there's not much conception behind it. I mean, it used to be taught from stepmother to stepdaughter and so on and so forth. But this is lost.
My understanding is that's pretty universal across cultures, though. Even here, they're taught in Latin cultures that's the greatest day, which is kind of a letdown, really, if you think about it. But in the past, I guess it was a celebration of bringing the two families together mostly, and well, what a great way to get some attention for the young woman for sure. But so what did you learn as the benefit then of becoming married?
For me, it was very. I mean, for me, my conception originally was really about the rearing of the children.
Okay, so there was really no teaching beyond that.
Yeah, it's really about being the family unit, the rearing of the children, bringing out the next generation, legacy from a man's side, and the economic benefit of being together, and also really, I mean, if somebody falls sick, like really provisioning and helping.
I think there used to be a large economic component to that. I think that's faded in the last 70 years, though.
Yes, actually, it's interesting you mentioned this, because I did. I mean, my job is trading, right? So I did the gain expectancy, which is the trading age of marriage. Would you like to hear about that?
Yes.
Here you go. So, trading age or gain expectancy is a mathematical formula. It basically says that if you want to win trading and making money, the idea that is you have to, on average, this basically boils down to how many times you win versus how many times you lose, and when you win, how much do you win on average versus how much do you lose on average. So let's run this through through marriage. So people focus, the divorce rate is 50% or whatnot. It doesn't matter. What matters from a guy's perspective and from a lady's perspective is who initiates it, because this is what is called a control variable. If, for instance, I initiate it, I have control over it. If my other part initiates it, I have no control over it. She could be because she's bored, because she's found somebody else, because there was a dead cat across the street. Who knows? Who cares?
Cardinal rule in the red pill. What that is.
Exactly, right? I mean, she's not yours. It's just your turn. So it turns out that women initiate at 70%. Let's do 70% to make it easy, but it's somewhere between 70 to 90%. And by the way, this is universal. So here in Japan, it's the same thing. Like, it's usually women bail. So, right, 70%. That gives you immediately the win rate. The win rate is, from a guy's perspective, like, wait a minute, you come home, there's nobody. Your win rate is 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Then, best case scenario, you split the assets 50-50. So immediately we know, okay, this is 30% or 50% for you, minus 70% of 30 or 50% on the other side. So immediately your average is blah, 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 minus 0.25 or something like this, minus 0.32. So that's without anything else. Now let's throw in the kids in the mix. Let's say you have children. So if you have children, usually the judge, any judge on earth, will say, "Hey, there must be unity, so the kids will stay in the house in which they grew up in." So that means that if you have a mortgage and everything going on, you don't hear dudes like, "Hey, I just kicked her out and I kicked out the kids and now I'm kicking back watching television." What you hear is daddy is sleeping in his car for a while and nothing is good.
Return on investment's quite poor. Yeah.
Exactly. So that gives basically an infinitely negative return on investment for the guys. So when all the outcomes from a man's perspective are negative, between minus 32 to 0.32 to minus infinity, that simply means that this marriage for guys carries as an interesting statistical property called certainty of ruin. You will go broke, period. End of conversation.
Matter of time.
That's it, from a statistical perspective. So it's by definition a very bad proposition for guys, the way it is structured now.
That's probably why it's so concealed too with media, because that's just too hard to even want to consider. I believe that we're headed in that direction, which is really unfortunate because it's going to result in the demographic crash, which is super dangerous. But let's stay on the same vein. I want to quickly hit a super chat, and then I want to get Paul's, because we're kind of been into it. So let me hit the super chat real quickly here, because Paul's coming up, and we'll get Paul to answer this, and then I want to get to Paul on his perspective growing up about marriage and all that. Super chat. How do I pronounce this again?
It's Caudillo.
Caudillo.
Yeah.
Nuclear Caudillo.
We just call him Nuke. Just call him Nuke.
Nuke. As an up-and-coming RP content creator, he's talking to me. What is some advice I could follow? Been in this space 10 years. Thanks, guys. Awesome intro. Wow. Shout out, Paul. I've been in this since late 2013. So yes, 10 years. Wow. I don't know if he's asking me or directing me.
No, he's been in the space for 10 years.
Oh, okay. We've been the
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sort of, like I would say,
like on the forums.
Yeah, he's been in the forums, stuff like that. But he just recently started doing streaming and stuff on YouTube. I've had him on the podcast. He's a good dude.
Does he have a channel we can promote?
I think this is it here. Nuclear Caudillo channel is there. My biggest advice would be to be consistent. That's the biggest thing I could say is, pick a day or multiple days in the week that you will always post content. Doesn't have to be every day. It could be just like every Thursday night, because people like that consistency. They like to know that, hey, every Saturday is the dragon ship without fail. They need that. And then right now, short form content is king. So if you can take your long form content, like the streams like this, and then chop them up into, up to 1 minute long clips for TikTok, shorts and reels, you'll be killing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you should come on sometime, Nuke. The dragon ship's always looking for a warrior to jump on board and grab an oar. So maybe we can do that sometime. Hit me up on my channel, RP Thor, on online. Happy to hear if you've been in this RP space, definitely. So Paul, tell me,
yeah,
are you officially a Gen Xer or are you a
I'm technically, what do they call us? I'm in between Gen X and in millennials. I was born in 79, so
I don't know. You're a Xennial.
I'm a Xennial.
Yeah, it's like Xennial, Xennial. Yeah. It's bullshit. It's just like
it's fucking it's just marketing.
It's more astrology for men.
Yeah. I don't know. So the way I was raised, my parents are still together. They're fucking miserable though. My
Oh,
dad
tell me.
is very passive aggressive. He's I was raised by him saying, husbands never win. Husbands are like the Indians in old Western movies. They never win, right? It's all the happy wife, happy life thing.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. But he's absolutely miserable. Like he and my mom just don't get along. But they're at this point, they're so they've been together so long that they couldn't possibly like leave each other at this point. They're both in their like mid to late 70s. And so yeah, I mean, I was sort of raised where you want to that's the ultimate end goal, right? Is you want to get married, you want to have kids. So I was raised rushing towards that white picket fence. That's why I got married at 20 years old. I wasn't even old enough to drink alcohol yet. and then that was the end state, is after you get married, and then now you can just rest on your laurels. You can sleep through it. You've made vows. You don't have to try anymore. And that is what ended my marriage. I ended up becoming the fat bastard, just stopped dead bedroom, all that kind of stuff. Ended up, but I think by the 7th year of marriage, I didn't really like my wife anymore.
7-year itch.
Yeah, well, just we both just didn't like each other. I'd much rather. There was times where I'd much rather go sleep out on the couch than sleep in the bedroom with her. And
that's hard contempt. Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, and it's just and then she got to the point where she was just nagging the shit out of me all the time. I deferred to her leadership of the relationship. I just like whatever you want, whatever you want.
You end up becoming kind of I'm not picking on you, but because I've seen this too.
No, pick on me. Like I don't mind because I learned from all this.
Since you fit the mold,
yeah,
and you kind of had it on easy street. Really, you got the ring, man. You got the kid. You got the wife. Supposedly, you got it all. And we were taught that, but according to listening about your parents, you really didn't have to do anything more than that. So
yeah, I didn't think I did.
Essentially, do you think you became her oldest child? And she started to resent that.
Yep.
And you had no issues doing that because it was very comfortable.
That's just what you do. That's what marriage is. Like, that's what I was taught,
So that is a form of marriage game, which we're talking about today. Is that form of game to where you scored the brass ring, brother. You got the unlimited poon on tap with the girl of your dreams. And now you don't have to do jack shit when it comes to women anymore, because only one rule you have to follow. And that is you must make her happy. Happy wife, happy life. When in reality, that's not the case.
It's not the case at all. In fact, that's how you end up in a fucking dead bedroom. Like if you do want to have that, I mean, you can have that. You can have that unlimited poon, but it does require game. And that game is harder because like when you're out just dating, right? You have the ability to next women if you want to, you can seduce them and stuff like that. And then, if you don't like them, you don't have to see them anymore or whatever. You can spin multiple plates. You don't have to tolerate as much bullshit. Whereas
you cover your deficiencies too.
What's that?
You can cover for your deficiencies or act like the alpha you always wanted to be. So I don't like using alpha, but you can put on a front for a while, and women do too.
Yeah, you can. But when you're in that relationship, I mean, it's a different level of game. I mean, she sees you at your absolute worst. Like if you're sick, you got debilitating diarrhea, right? That is so unattractive, but that's like, she sees you at your absolute weakest point, and you have to be able to bounce back from that. And by setting the tone and leading properly in the relationship, you can do that. You also, one thing that I've noticed that I've had to do since I've been dating Nurse Chick for like the last 2 years is I got to make sure that I don't fall back on old habits. I have, and one of those things is, a lot of guys, they want their best friend. They want someone that they can just come to with all their problems and stuff like that. That's not what your girl's for. And I had to learn that. And so
We're all
whenever
taught that.
what's that?
We're all taught that. Even the girls say they want their best friend, and we
Right.
capitulate, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's not the case. That will kill attraction. So one thing that I find is just none of us are perfect either, right? So I'll find myself like talking to a nurse chick about stuff like struggles I'm dealing with like my day job or whatever, and I catch myself and I have to flip a switch and be like, you know what though, I got it all handled. I got it all figured out. Because women sort of like don't care about your problems, right? They want to know that you got your shit handled. So you can have problems, they expect that, but they also want to know that you're going to deal with it. And so it's just I've had to learn that in order to be in this relationship, it's almost like you have to stay lovingly detached at all times and just have this like abundant awareness of what you're saying, what you're doing, and measuring her attraction level to you and stuff like that. So it's actually a lot more work than just being out dating, where you're just like worried about seducing her.
That is so profound, Paul. Really,
Oh,
that
yeah.
loving detachment is when we say boss level game. I don't know that everybody can even achieve that in a very quick fashion. I mean, you
No.
can stay somewhat detached while you're dating and you're spinning multiple plates. You have to.
Mhm.
And I've made this argument before, when guys fall into the serial monogamy dating situation, that's really advantageous to women and detrimental for men if your purpose is to actually secure a good mate for long-term relationships and or ceremonial marriage. I think that you really do need to have those pressures so that you can maintain that level of game even into the relationship and sustain it over time. That loving detachment keeps you at a level in which she has that deepest respect for this leader that is not a servant leader. Servant leader is one of the worst things that you've ever done to men and corporations. It absolutely destroys the masculine part of what makes a transformational leader so powerful, because he makes that decision that nobody else does and people will spit on him for, but it is still the right decision.
You know what's funny about servant leader? Like, if people didn't have a problem with the concept of servant leader, then they shouldn't have a problem with the terms called servant king or servant authoritarian or servant dictator. But they all do. So the problem is not servant or leading to serve people. The problem with it all is the leadership aspect of that model. They don't want you to have leadership. It is a complementarian's version of Rolo texted this to me yesterday. We were talking about it. It's the complementarian's version of the feminist egalitarianism. So,
Okay. Well, I good to know. Back to this whole married game being a boss level game. Paul, would you think that that's really the challenge in marriage? I mean, you kind of lived the actual standard. You had it shown to you as a passive aggressive, and we're all taught to be the nice guy. We just did this episode last week on the nice guy syndrome. And we think we're doing the right thing. And I think this is what's so crushing to
Yeah.
guys that makes it worse than death, is that guys want to be very useful. Once they're on mission, they're very useful. And I'm on mission. I'm doing all these things. I'm doing everything right. And yet that creates that distance. They don't even know they're being lazy in their relationship, as far as they're being lazy emotionally with their regulation and leadership. What would you say was the most important lesson you learned from your parents and then from your experience in marriage that made it really boss level game?
Well, what I learned from my parents, it's something that it's more like what not to do, what not to do, and I didn't learn that until hindsight, until I found myself going through the divorce process, and I didn't even learn that after the divorce. I got into a relationship for 4.5 years after the divorce, and I found myself doing the same thing in that relationship. Just got super lazy, just like, I don't have to try anymore. The one difference was that I took my health more seriously. I that's where I lost all my weight. I lost all my weight, got fit during that relationship. But the whole idea of like dating her, dating that girl, and still trying to still trying to run game on her, right? You still want to run game on your girl even when you're in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Just stop doing that, because you're just like, hey, I expect sex at this point. Well, if you're not running game on her and just expecting sex, like, you'll find that sex just starts dwindling, because women need to be seduced, and women aren't the instigators. I was always the guy too that was like, well, I want her to instigate because that shows that she likes me. Well, that's just not how women are. Women are passive usually. I mean, Nurse Chick is totally different though, because she's a hornball, so she is always trying to seduce me, and that's a blessing and a curse.
What's really interesting?
Yes, it is. I understand, Paul. It is.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have.
It's interesting that you guys say that, but I do think that definitely that's a big part of your game. Is her, so to speak, use your term, being a hornball.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's knowing that women's primary agencies are sexual agency, when you're firing on all cylinders, that is her default setting, and it's a freaking beautiful thing. That's where the boss level game comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Is being able to recognize that both emotionally and physically. And it's not just doing your part of being Mr. Nice Guy. There's a big component of this that would appear to be narcissism from almost everybody out there. And it's not. It's you being a dominant masculine presence, taking care of yourself, dialing your shit in, and doing the grown-ass adult things that you do for yourself, thereby causing her to be quite attracted and wanting to be on that ride with you. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you guys say that's the hardest part, is maintaining that, or even understanding that going into a relationship? How many of you guys have been in a relationship, and why did they go south after a year or even 3 months? It gets stale. I will tell you this: the one thing about marriage that I've learned. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of this. It's something in my way here. I wanted to advertise that law of attraction. Obviously, the law of attraction is one of the absolute best things you can do inside a marriage. We're actually talking about that, but conversationalism. You can't just, there's a time when she's talking and all you hear is Charlie Brown talk. Wah, 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 wah. And then you do, the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing when he was in the last Hollywood Hero. He goes, yes, dear. Uh-huh. And he took the recorder and then just put it on the phone. So all it was doing while she was talking was going, yeah, yes, dear. Uh-huh, dear. I understand. There's a time and place for that, but actually being a conversationalist, and everybody on this panel I've spoken with, you guys are all good conversationalists. I think that guys struggle moving that into the realm with their girls.
That was something that I struggled with it, both in my marriage and then with in that 4-year relationship with Red Pill Chick. Was I was a terrible listener, and that used to piss off both those women, right? Like, they knew that I was tuned out thinking about other shit when they were like jammering on, and I couldn't care less, and they would both test me and be like, what did I just say? And I would fail miserably because I had no idea. What the fuck did they just say? And so I actually have, it's still something I struggle with, but I try to be more aware of it. And a lot of this is really just awareness, right? Which I said before. Answer
for that, because everybody experiences that test. Everybody experiences that test.
So I really tried to be more aware of it, try to be more of a good listener, trying to really stop what I'm doing, focus on what they're saying. One thing that a lot of guys don't do, and it's perfectly acceptable to do, and I learned this from Dr. Robert Glover, is that it's sometimes women will go off on tangents and they will run their mouths and tell you about all the fucking nitty details in whatever they're telling you about that's unimportant. Mm-hmm. It is okay to be like, you know what, honey, give me the guy's version of that. Can you give me the guy's version of that? It's okay to say that to your woman and have her take a step back and just sort of get to the fucking point. Right? Especially if you're like busy with other shit, right? You can say that in a loving manner, like, honey, you know what? I really want to listen to you. But just give me the guy's version of that. It's okay to do that.
I have a story on that. I've been married for a really long time to a super gal, but she would say, if I tell her that, because she's answered like this, and by the way, I do understand that whole concept of being disabled, Lauren, and it's for life and how you deal with that. That is a mindset that you should probably approach, if you're going to enter into a ceremonial marriage, any kind of marriage. But back to Paul. If you were, because I've asked her, I could just give me the guy's version because I wasn't paying attention. And so she got my attention in a way that was amazing. She said, okay. I said, if you were listening to me, you would have got the best blowjob in your life right now. And I went, touche. Let's start over. I mean, I'll never forget that because it was about something. And you know how guys are, we tune out. But
very well, I accept.
Just remind it pretty much. It's like, here's what I did. I did the Glenn when she said that. I went, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Wait a minute. You said you did the Glenn. You did the.
Or what is it? Yep. I'm listening. The Glenn, the newscaster, the
Red Pill,
the Ron Burgundy of the Red Pill, Glenn Lawrence.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just in.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of your comedy, Ron Burgundy of the Red Pill.
Oh,
Award
man.
Raspberry winning Red Pill reporter.
Yes. We'll be making some. I do have some slated to be doing. Man, you guys, like, just so you guys know, like, there's so much production going on right now.
Well, we're speaking of marriage and marriage game right now, and one of the best illustrations of boss level game in marriage would be ideal for your new production coming up, which is the Red Pill Marriage Counselor.
That's right, Red Pill with Dr. Glenn Lawrence. Yeah. You guys, if you haven't seen it, go to my channel and go watch Marriage Counseling.
We talked about this. Is great knowledge on the game side presented to you in a very satirical way.
Yeah, it's a great production. We're getting ready to start shooting some more in like 2 weeks. It's gonna be cool. Like I got 8 episodes lined up for you guys, and I'll spill a little bit of the beans about it. My last episode, the guy finds out that I'm literally lifting everything from the rational male and giving to him as marriage advice. And Rolo's with me in this scene. And the guy's like, wait a minute, you're saying I could have learned all this if I bought the book for $10.99? And
instead of $400 an hour,
instead of like $400 an hour. And then I'm like, well, yeah. And then Rolo goes to the guy and goes, but would you even listen?
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
So that is going to be episode 8. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be hilarious. All going to be shot in Vegas. So that's going to be fun.
This is a tough question for guys, definitely. Boss level game, because you're up against a lot these days. In marriage being really, they've really put men into an extremely subservient role, and they've disguised it over the years. And when I say it definitely comes from the religious side here in the West, not so much, in the East, where they still hold these views a little different, but it even affects everything worldwide. And women really long to be mothers at their core, and they can say anything they want, but I've seen way too many women struggle with career, with school, with all these things, and then they're holding that baby and they're smelling that smell a week after they have it, and they are different people, completely different people. And then and most of them go, oh, I get it now. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And so there is very much a need for us to produce these families, and in the context of one man, one woman, closed on all sides. I'm just going to say in that context, it's extremely useful for us in a society, and to produce, people that are well fitted in, to living peaceful existences and maintaining productivity and moving our species forward. That's not the only way, by the way, but it is probably the largest way, and we can prove it.
Yeah, I want to make a point real quick though, Thor, when you mentioned about that, because you said it is being pushed by the like the religious sector, the trad commies. I call them the trad commies. Remember, like back in the 50s when they used to call all the actors commies? You know, just figure we might as well start to bring up something new again. But Pastor Joel Webbin, right, from Right Response Ministries, is going against complementarianism right now. He's like, we need to destroy complementarianism and egalitarianism. And so there is a small sect.
Can you define complementarianism for us?
Yeah, okay. Here we go. I gotta pull up my phone because Rollo said the best quote to me about it. So let me just
pull up my
quote him.
That Rollo guy, he sure knows a lot of stuff.
That dude knows some shit, doesn't he? Let me quote him exactly.
I got the Rollo hotline right here. Look.
He goes, complementarianism is basically a half measure that pop Christianity still uses to square the circle of egalitarian feminism dictating doctrine that doesn't gel with scripture. Complementarianism bridges the gaps between female empowerment in the church and wives submit to your husbands.
That sounds like propaganda. That can't bridge the gap. It's fundamentally opposed to the core doctrine. Well, unless you go back to the 50s where you have that book.
Yeah. So that's what complementarianism is. It says, like, you know, men are men and, you know, women are women. And yeah, we're different, but
it makes it sound better because even us in the red pill, Glenn, say we're better together than apart. We are complements of each other.
Yes, we say we're complements, but not complementarians. So there is a push for, and I fully support this push. And I think I talked to you, Thor, about it too. It's called biblical patriarchy, and it's basically red pill with Jesus in it. You know, and I actually am a big fan of that. Like, you know, so there is sects and sections of the Christian space that are really coming against like the complementarian, egalitarian mindset and stuff. So there's a new push for it. It's coming. It's coming.
Did you guys know there really is a red pill Jesus? He carried a hammer like this and lived in the north.
Here we go.
And instead of his dad told him, you know, instead of going out there and dying on the cross and, you know, taking everybody, you take this hammer and you go and beat the shit out of the bad guys. Red pill Jesus. Anyway. All righty, let's get back on track. Hey, Danny Arnold, how are you doing there? Oh, yeah, let's check it out. We got to put Danny. He's one of our members. Check this out. I like what RP Thor said last time about when some notorious thought, you guys understand what thought means, is holding someone's newborn baby and they can't help but sniff that baby's head because they want to have kids. So this is something you can observe for sure. This is a phenomenon.
New baby smell.
Yeah. Oh my God. This really does hit women at their instinctual level because they are built for this. And it's like us saying we can put our sexuality on hold, the church says. Can you put a woman's motherhood on hold? You can, at her emotional and psychological detriment. You're going to pay the piper at some point, probably down the line when it's no longer possible. Countless examples we can point to right now. And crying and complaining, putting it on line because it's so hurtful. They don't have a family. It's a tough problem. And we're going to face it really harsh. I think the apocalypse is not the asteroid. It's the collapse of the demographics. Did you guys know marriage rates are severely down in South Korea? And they just hit a birth rate per woman below 1. That's the first time in recorded history. That's not good. That's really bad.
Is that just in South Korea?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That's stunning. I know Japan was one of the first of the developed countries to recognize it and grapple it because of their immigration policy. They see it front and center strongly. Lauren, have they loosened their immigration policies in Japan to try to address the demographic fall? You're muted.
Well, First of all, I mean, addressing the demographic fall by inviting foreigners to impregnate their chicks is definitely not in the Japanese
That's
psyche.
not what they meant. They were, yeah, I know.
So that's not about to happen. Although, I mean, I've really, really, really tried really hard to raise the
A one man crusade, maybe.
absolutely, and I mean, the interesting part is
I could send a donation.
oh yeah, oh, I've donated a
I
lot of stuff
support
over the
Barack for
years.
president. Impregnate them all.
Oh yeah, but interestingly enough, I mean, I totally understand why there's a demographic fall. I volunteer in children abduction organization. The idea there is in Japan, when you divorce, you never get to see your children thereafter.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
So from a guy's perspective, it's single custody. So from a guy's perspective, you lose everything. Everything that you've worked for, you lose it.
So it's always the female, because we have a similar situation, and my solution to it is it should be default to the male.
And well, the way things work here is basically, I mean, the way society is set up is guys are the working horse beater.
Mm.
So you pay for it,
Yeah.
and somebody is raising the children in the hatred of their father. And when kids see that, they're like, "Yeah, do I really want to get married and get that? No, thanks."
So marriage is on the decline there too. Obviously, birth rates are down there. They're like I said, they're one of the first. You guys don't have a pyramid anymore, right? You don't have a demographic pyramid where there's a small amount of old people at the top. It's more like this now, right?
It's this way.
It's like
it's an inverse pyramid.
Yeah,
it's an inverse pyramid where, for the first time ever, the 65-year-old cohort and above is higher than the 20-year-old. So there's actually a net decline in the population. But what happens in Japan is the dynamic completely changes. So before marriage, when you have your Japanese girlfriend, for instance, Japanese girlfriends are by far the best in the world. And I'll prove it. Like all those fresh and fits, like 3 or 4s, your standard average factory setting Japanese girls vaporizes those bitches back in the quantum realm, in the different solar system. And I'll prove it to you. Like American guys and American girls, like especially the power, blah, blah, lawyers and shit, they come to Japan, guys and girls within 2 years, they pack their shit up and they go home, thirsty, back to the Carriage town, they give up, they throw the towel. Meanwhile, the guys is like, heaven.
I stay.
I'm in heaven. Like, wait a minute, this is amazing. And like, the Japanese chicks, they run victory laps around all the foreigners.
So what kind of wives do they make?
That is the problem.
Because the divorce rate is less, so you could argue that they make better wives. But what is the reality?
Well, the idea is like it's like Mogwai. Mogwai, you don't feed him after midnight because then he turns into a gremlin. So as soon as they pop kids, and it's literally like within weeks of that, as soon as they pop kids, now they from a guy's perspective, this is the shock of their lives, because we had this wonderful, amazing girl, and all of a sudden she turns into a mother. The weight of the Japanese society comes down bearing on them, and then these are societal expectations. They shift into mother gear. So you, the guy, you stink, and you go sleep somewhere else.
Why would you think that is?
This is the way it is.
I'm not sure that's exclusive to Japan.
But then all the bedroom fun and all this, it's gone, and the attention of the lady shifts to the kid. They shift into mother gear, and they stop being the girlfriend. And this is where guys lose frame, because at the same time you work, you don't pay attention to those things.
I do think that's kind of a guy problem in some ways, though. That's my personal opinion.
It is part of a guy's problem, but it's also because all of a sudden when you're in your bubble of two, you're in your bubble of two, but women are by definition so like group think, right? So all of a sudden they become mothers. So then they compare themselves with all the other mothers around. So they cut their hair, they stop being graceful and feminine, and then it's like competition between mothers. So, like, the lunchbox, they have lunchbox competition, and then they stress one another and so on and so forth. And like,
Oh yes, I am aware of that. I think the
you
solution, a
can't
good
win.
solution, would be to have more than one wife and only have one with a set of kids at a time. One
And
toddlers, one teenagers, and so the competition messes them all up.
exactly.
So,
And then
like,
there's
Laurent, if they're competing amongst the mothers, would like the Octo mom actually win out there?
Well, this is the thing, and then there's a lot of resentment that builds. There's like a breakdown of the communication between the father, I mean, with the husband, and so on and so forth. So I agree with you that part of it is the guy's responsibility, and even though like guys are warned, like you got to be careful about this and that and the other, it's still very much an uphill struggle. Very, very.
I think there's something to that though, because the demographic fault kind of demonstrates what you're saying.
But I mean, I have a very simple solution for
Less
that.
and less kids, yeah.
You have a very simple solution. You give primary custody to the dude.
Yep, to the father.
Default primary custody to the dude the day after tomorrow. I mean, that's it. Like, because when you're a dude, you're in a no-win position. Half your shit is going to be gone. You're going to lose your kid. What's the point of all this? And especially when you see like the drop off the cliff that you fall off, you know what? I might as well do warm-ups and practice rather than actually transform the essay and move into something more permanent.
I agree. I actually agree with you. Now, this whole episode is supposed to be about marriage games, so we want it to be successful. But just as a sidetrack, anecdotally, and I've seen less than half a dozen, so it's not too far off the actual subject numbers that some people use for actual studies. But I've seen at least that many men I've been in contact with, when they get primary physical custody, it's not what you think. Those guys really step up and things happen that are very beneficial for the children, even more than you would imagine. And this seems to be, in my realm, quite universal.
If I may add to because you made a fantastic episode, and I forwarded it to everybody I knew, and even to people I didn't know. But I would to make it successful, what I believe is when you give both parties something that they value and they can lose, then both parties have to sit at the table and they have to hammer out an agreement. So for instance, what do women value most? They value their kids most. This is the flesh of their flesh, so they value kids. Okay, so you give the pin of the grenade to the guy. You give primary custody to the guy. And what do guys value most? I've worked my entire life. Life, and all my more than half of my shit is going to be gone. So you give the pin of the grenade to the woman, and hey, if she leaves, half your shit and more than half your shit will be gone. Ooh, calm down. I'll treat you with respect. And then to the girls, hey, if you piss him off, he's going to take away the kids. Calm down. And when both parties have something to lose, both parties will find. When it's mutually assured destruction, then we both have to find a way to make it work out. Does it make any sense?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
That makes a hell of a lot of sense. I want to point out though, like this is all about boss level game. And Thor, you're right. Marriage is boss level game. Okay, and I'll explain it this way. With all the modern day, benefits that women get from marriage and divorce, the guys that are able to maintain their wives in their frame, maintaining a healthy, happy relationship, going against all odds, they're the boss level status. Thor is on top of boss level status. Rollo, top of boss level status. Okay, going on 30 years or over 30 years for Thor, over 25 plus years for Rollo. Like, that is boss level status. So who cares if you could get a girl in your bed, but can you get her to stay in your frame, live underneath your frame, and adopt your frame for over 30 years? If you could do that, then you're a genius. All right.
I gotta say, I got an unfair advantage though.
You're the god of thunder. I get it.
No. She can't really fucking run away because she's a quadriplegic in a chair, so she can't run. I got a captive audience.
That's boss level game.
Boss level game. You put her.
She can't move, so she ain't going anywhere.
Misty, we love you. We love you. Oh,
Oh, she's the best, man. And here's the thing. She still takes care of all her wifely duties, one way or the other. How about that? Trad cons.
that's
What's the
boss
deal?
level status. But no, in all
And it
seriousness,
seems effortless too, but it's really not effortless, but it seems so because it's just a part of me. It's part of being a grown-ass adult.
Well, it's like Rolo says, like you eventually become the game. Like it
Mhm.
just becomes a part of who you are, how you handle things. And so
Right.
that's why it seems effortless, but you're still doing what you need to do.
But think
Yes.
about it this way, right? Like all the guys are saying, well, marriage is it sucks, because of all these potential negative elements. But in order to overcome all those negative elements, 30 plus years, and still have a great marriage, you are boss level status. There's no way around it. Because everybody else is saying, no, we need to make things more equal, make things more fair, And you're over here, Thor, you're like, shit, I did it against all odds. I'm a boss.
Yeah, but it's a funny thing. It doesn't count. And I'll tell you why. Have you guys watched any of our the Red Pill content lately? The arguments with Destiny and the girls. The common comment is, "Oh, so you're giving me advice? How long have you been married?" And then if somebody like Rolo says, "Well, I've been married, 26 years," it's like, "Oh, well, you don't count because of this." It doesn't matter.
It's you can't win theater,
No, I posed the question, a couple of interesting questions on Twitter because I'm brand new there, and it's funny as fuck to me. I can't believe how stupid and how riled these fucking retards get. So it's totally entertaining. So it is trying to addict me with the algorithm because it's so funny to me. It's just pure comedy when I pick it up. But I asked you asked the question is, so do you have to have experience to be able to speak on a given subject? In any sort of authoritative capacity, and watch the hamster wheels fucking spin. Yes, no, yes, no.
My
It's like
favorite one you
good
did
engagement.
was about the
Yeah.
abuse. My favorite one you did was about the abuse.
oh my god, I knew that would go too because I started asking questions about, yeah, is a dirty look abuse? And I just kept running with it from there. Is not talking abuse? I mean, according to even the TradCons, abuse is so wide ranging that it's pretty much even a living, breathing male that is breathing through his mouth is abusive.
Yeah, mouth breathing is abusive. You didn't know?
Anyway, that's just fun stuff. And thank you for the compliments. I'm proud to be married that long and even over. And guys, life is fucking great. Swing that hammer. Let's go ahead and give a shout out in a religious fashion. Here we go. I have a special sound since we're talking Jesus. Nobody questioned Jesus' authority in and power in the Bible. The modern church's version of servant leader is responsibility without authority. Modern church's unbiblical rusty fuel for the 999 win. And here is my response. Oh, that's all hail. Thank you for the super chat, guys. The super chats are incredible. We really, this is how we support ourselves. We're running to the end of the show, guys. We're running out of time, but we put our time aside specifically for this. And once again, with the foreign Y symbol thing, which is Yuan, I think.
That's Laurent, right?
Is that wrong? I can't see. Not a minute. Oh, I see it now. Well, you're not getting the sound. But that's all right.
I know my Laurent when I see the
I'm looking over there. I said, that's you. That's yen, isn't it? It is yen. Ah, you dirty bastard. That's okay. What a hero. Well, thank you for the super chats, guys. Let's do a quick wrap and then we'll close out for today. So is the consensus that married level game, whether it's state marriage or ceremonial, because I cannot see state marriage really taking hold again. In fact, it's on the decline, and we're seeing places like New Zealand and others actually starting to use the terms marriage-like behavior when settling property between boyfriend and girlfriend that's even long distance. Don't think I'm wrong. It's right. Look it up. The whole system in the West is now starting to call out marriage-like behavior. And they're applying it even in poly relationships. So, guys, you're not going to escape this damn Divorce Inc. You're going to have to be very careful on how you approach this. There is a way to do it. Keep that extra room completely rentable, iron-proof lease agreements, separate accounts. Anyway, we'll get into that some other day. But yeah, for sure. Let's get to it. Marriage is boss level game. Glenn.
As the ambassador of toxic masculinity, I would like to say that I approve of this message that marriage is boss level game. Even now, against all odds, the couples that are able to stay married, the husband is doing some boss level status like Thor.
So Glenn, I got to call you on it. I'm going to push back on you.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll push right back.
If she was in a wheelchair, you'd still be able to do it with your girl? You'd still stick with her?
Yeah.
What if she gained 400 pounds?
No. I will take
a boss will lose it. If she's in the wheelchair because she's 400 pounds, Glenn, you're
I will take a quadriplegic any day of the week. 400-pound woman that can walk,
400
walk her ass right out of the house.
Did you see
right out
the
of the house.
thumbnail? I put the whale on the thumbnail just for you.
I know.
For better, for worse, for skinnier, or for fatter fuck.
No, that's not in my vows. That's not in my vows. It's not Rocky Road, blood pressure, and blood type chocolate. Okay, it's not happening over here.
Glenn's gonna be like me. He's gonna write his own wedding vows, which I did for my wife and myself. I wrote them, but Glenn's gonna be okay. You can be a quadriplegic. You can do this. You can do this. I'll do all this stuff. As soon as you get fat, get the fuck out.
Hey, seriously, hey, you gotta be. You hit 150, you can't ride this ride. Get the fuck out of here.
That's very generous, actually. 150. You give her.
I know.
You give her a 40
nice
pound. Yeah, you give her basically a 35-pound cushion.
Yeah, I'm like, look, baby weight. I get all that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What if she had 35 pounds in each tit, though?
Well, and her frame.
Would you make an exception?
Yeah. It's all about proportion.
Okay, what if it looked like, imagine this, guys, for Glenn, 1963 VW Bugs racing on a 2-lane highway.
Ooh, what is the waist like though?
Small, because it's getting narrow and they're going like this.
Oh yeah, I'm game. 100.
Okay,
just be 200 pounds looking like that. Okay, we're good.
Just checking. Thank God for yoga pants, because all I can think about is 2 VW Bugs 1963 racing on a very small, narrow highway.
No, but in all actuality, like, think about this, you guys. Maintaining a relationship, a marriage, against all odds, not going through the divorce machine, having a legacy of great kids that provides you great grandchildren that love you, your wife loves you, and you are the patriarch of your family, and you're able to go to that status. That is boss level game, going against all odds, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. That is boss level status. And for guys to be complaining that we need to get things equal in order to make things work, I understand it sucks. But real boss level status is what Thor has been living for the last 30 plus years. Because the laws haven't changed. The laws have gotten worse, and he's still able to maintain that status. So salute to the man amongst gods, or God amongst men.
There we go.
However you want to word it. Your ass backwards. But whatever. That's top level status, if you ask me.
And where can we find you right now? You're in the middle of a transition, but be brief and tell me.
No, not the transition. I'm not transitioning, guys. No.
You're in evolution.
I'm evolving.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys can catch me out in Vegas in like the next week and a half. I'll be out there soon.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned. No productions coming out as of now, but we'll be
all out there too.
Yep. Paul from Apex and Paul from Come On Man. We got to do something out there.
We will. We got to get everybody together. Randall, where can we find you? Appreciate your input early on, man. That was you've been good, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. So you can find me obviously here on the Dragon Ship, and then if you guys want, follow me on Instagram at Talon the Titan. I'm going to be traveling a bit this summer, so I'll be sure to share some posts on there. Other than that, next go round of MEN, make sure that if you guys want to be a group of men that are uplifting, go ahead and do that. And if you're too impatient, join us on the Dragons. I'm in there.
Nice. Thank you. Laurent from Tokyo, you got up awfully early to join this interesting conversation, and your perspective from the Far East is greatly appreciated. Where can we find you, and what are you up to lately?
Thank you very much. I don't have much social presence, although I think I'm gonna create a channel. So I believe that
We've been asking for a year. People need to know.
So yeah. What I'm up to is I'm up to several things, but there's one that is particularly interesting. Like we even talked this morning, yesterday morning, so that would be the same today for you guys, with Ryan Fowler, and about releasing a product. So we're probably going to record it within the next month. It's about hypnosis and money, and then we're going to do hypnosis and trading. And this, I think, is going to be life-changing. This will be life-changing for everybody. This is something that we really are passionate about, that we want to put in the hands of everybody, because we have really bad programming about this. And
when you guys are ready, come on the Thunder and give us a synopsis of what you're doing.
Okay. So this is what I've been up to. I'm really passionate about this. And also with this, we have several other groups that we like to other avenues that we like to work on to help people. It really comes from a place of helping people. It's not about any grift or anything. It's like, we need that. Everybody needs that. So this is what I've been up to. That's pretty much it for me. And and again, thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be amongst you gentlemen, especially the ambassador of toxic masculinity. Like, if you can rub it off on me a little bit more, Randall the Wise. Thank you very much. Your wisdom, speak more. And come on, man, Paul. I really like your style. I really like your work. And Thor, it's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. That was it for me.
Great. And our final dragon on the dragon ship, Paul Bauer. Come On Man podcast. Tell us what your final thoughts are, where we can find you, what you're working on next. And you got something special coming up on your next podcast?
Yeah, well, every podcast is special in its own way. So you guys saw the commercial at the beginning for the Practical Law of Attraction course. I've been giving that a coupon code out for the entire month of May. If you use May Mindset at checkout, you get $100 off. So there's only after today, there's only 4 days left where you can use that code, and then it's going away.
Randall, can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put that in there and you can push that out. It's oh, there you go. Yeah. So use Thor's link in the description and check that out, and get it while the getting's good. That's a mindset course. I call it the law of attraction, but a lot of people watch, The Secret, right? And they get turned off by it because they're like, oh, it's magical thinking and it's genies, granting wishes. And a lot of guys in this space call it chick crack, right? And it has nothing to do with all that. When you really distill it down, it's really about mindset and reprogramming your subconscious mind, and everything starts with your mind. Right. So it's actually a really good course. I did that course as my first course because once you get your mind right, like everything else falls into place. So definitely check that out. Tune into the podcast on Monday. I have a guy who's been following my content for the last couple of years. He was almost 400 pounds at one point, decided to take his life back, started following my TikTok, started reading all the books that I recommend, started listening to the interviews that I have, the experts that I have on my podcast all the time. Completely changed his life around. He's dropped all that weight. He's killing it out on the dating circuit right now, and his life's just been completely changed. So I like having those types of success stories, to come on the podcast and actually talk about how their lives have changed, because you can do it. You just got to put your mind to it. So check that out on Monday, and you can find that on your favorite podcast platform at comeonmanpod.com.
Hey, that's fantastic. Sure appreciate all you guys joining the Dragon Ship. And for all the fans out there watching it, appreciate the replay. Please share it. Consider joining our memberships on our individual channels. They're very, very reasonable. You get behind the scenes videos like cooking, opinion, and other stuff that really we don't put out on the main channel just for the members. I'm going to take us out with a couple of beautiful sponsors that are here for the show. So I want you guys, we'll take you out and we'll see you on the very next Dragon Ship when we climb aboard and form the shield wall. The dad you never had. Welcome to the Clary School of Economic Philosophy. I'm RP Thor. The dad you never had and wish that you did is a 12-hour course. Regardless of what society says today, everyone needs their dad. That's what this course is for. Were you raised by a single mother? Is your father absent? Did he not teach you what you needed to know today to be successful in the modern world? Thankfully, these lessons have not been lost and conveniently recompiled by Aaron Clary, renowned economist and author. He's going to teach you education, career and finance, love and family, how to become a high-quality man that women want. That's correct. The example curriculum is amazing. 12 hours with an amazing PowerPoint. 12 hours of video instruction, all the way from career, education, defeating laziness, love and sex, how to create value in your life, all for the low, low price of $149. This course is invaluable at any cost. And to be able to purchase it for $149, and it is yours to keep. 12 hours of instruction on all of this. It's amazing. The Clary School of Economic Philosophy and the Dad You Never Had is a must-buy now. I'm RP Thor. Use the link above and purchase The Dad You Never Had and start learning today.
Make sure you get your own copy of Thor's Dominant Masculine Presence lecture. This is an hour-long lecture that teaches extremely valuable yet simple techniques that will help you to improve your dominant masculine presence. You will learn how easy it is to begin building the foundation for your masculine presence and make yourself into a dominant masculine man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to go after it. So what are you waiting for? Buy now and start your journey